We got one from Hunter Clare here. With you being so openly opposed to a Republican governor that was very anti-labor but tried to hide behind public safety, supporting public safety, how do you hope to bridge the gap between conservatives and Congress to gather support for firefighter issues?
That's a great question, and I'll tell you, brother. I won't tell you what I'm going to do. I'll tell you what I've already done. When we marched against Governor Walker in 2011, he was probably the most anti-worker, anti-union governor of his time, at least in 2011. There's more that came that tried similar things, but at the time, and I think that's why it got so much attention. But I'll tell you, we marched, and normally the rallies were at 12 o'clock and 5 o'clock. And we marched, and we were there with our flags, our bagpipes, and we stood up and stood out. But I actually would come back to the office and change into my suit and go to the Capitol and actually meet with Governor Walker for a couple reasons. One was to try to make some concessions and try to make some changes to the law for our brothers and sisters in labor. The other was actually, we have, and I know we all have across the country, but third service paramedics, so standalone EMS systems that are in the IAFF that are paramedics and they do EMS strictly. They, because of the way our state statute is written, they were actually not included in the exemption for unions. Even though they were in the IAFF, they were not considered public safety as firefighters are or fire-based EMS is here in our state. So we actually had to have a legislative fix, and the only person that could fix that was Governor Walker. So I was true in my intentions, saying that that bill is wrong, Act 10, which was the bill that changed collective bargaining rights for public sector, and arguing against it. But again, my job was still to get things done for our members. So I actually would meet with Governor Walker to try to get an exemption similar to one that he gave us that we didn't ask for, essentially a carve-out for our third service or our standalone paramedic systems. We're actually able to get that done. And Governor Walker actually made that legislative change. So what I'll do is what I've always done. We've always had divided government here in Wisconsin, or we've always had a Republican supermajority, as long as I've been president. And we still have gotten things done. Our PTSD bill that would have been passed if it wasn't for COVID-19. We have a Republican Assembly and a Republican Senate right now, and a Democratic governor. That bill is all ready to be passed if they actually met in person. And it was coming down to one quick voice vote. And again, getting that bill passed was working together with Republicans and Democrats. And I have Republicans that call me a bleeding heart liberal, and I have Democratic friends that call me a moderate Republican. So I'm about as in the middle as they come, brother. And I'll tell you how we get things done is working on both sides of the aisle. When collective bargaining bill wasn't passed, it was actually Democrats that didn't pass it. The Democrats had the majority, and they didn't pass it. So we got to work on both sides of the aisle to actually get things done. And I've proven that I can do that, and I will do that to IAFF.